What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity. Happy Friday. It's like 2:30 in the morning, 2:15 in the morning, and yes, I'm still up. I'm actually preparing for my vacation. My husband, my parents, and I, we are leaving the country on Saturday. So I did a lot of shopping today, last minute shopping, and I'm getting my stuff together. But I knew that I had to come on and give you a vlog for the week because I will be gone for the next 6 days. And I just got finished watching The Four, you know, taped it, of course, so I watched it well after it aired, and I'm so glad my girl Leah Janae is a finalist of The Four. I love this show. It's a great concept, and it just is a reminder that there's so much raw and amazing talent throughout the world. So I couldn't like go to bed without coming on and chatting it up with y'all, right? So the last vlog that I did last week was about Black men's perspective on all things marriage, love, sex, women, all that, right? And you know, it seems like it ruffled a few feathers, and I'm okay with that. As I said on my Instagram page for the website, which is at ComplexedSimplicity09. I am all about thought-provoking information, conversations. Like, I'm not with the talking about like stuff that's so surface. I like to dig deep. Those who have been rocking with me from the beginning, you know I like to dig deep. So I gave my perspective on, based off of what these men were saying in their like focus group, about their perspectives and thoughts on love, marriage, sex, relationships. And I think where I caught a little bit of a, ooh, from some was when I said I really don't feel that, sorry, my computer is, that I really didn't feel that being able to attract a great man or be on the path to finding who you're meant to be with, in my opinion, or my belief system, who God has for you. I don't believe that it's that hard. I think I said I don't believe that it's like rocket science or physics, meaning it's not that hard. And I know for many women out there, they might, or some women out there, they might have been like, what you mean it's not that hard? What are you implying? But what I will always, the foundation that I will always come from, of course, is a Christian standpoint when it comes to marriage and things of that nature, as well as a psychological standpoint. I am a huge promoter of having good mental health, being aware of our emotions, having emotional balance. I'm a huge promoter of just all in all having self-awareness. And a lot of what I say and what I relay as it pertains to marriage for the single people out there is because if we're not in touch with who we are, if we are not emotionally balanced, emotional balance pretty much means regardless of whether you're happy, angry, sad, mad, frustrated, anxious, whatever it is, you're able to balance those emotions without flying off the handle or without making irrational decisions and choices for your life. Able to think through things in a healthy manner. And so If we're unable to be emotionally balanced, it absolutely is going to affect our ability to attract the right person within our lives to do life with. And I'm going to stand firm on that. I'm okay with people not agreeing or buying into my perspective. That's fine. I am not here to get anyone to sway into what Chanel thinks. I'm just here to share a different perspective that most won't hear out there. And as long as, you know, because someone challenged my perspective on my YouTube channel, which is Complex Simplicity. Check it out, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. And someone else, I think, gave it a thumbs down. Now, honestly, this was the first vlog that I've done just me, not me reviewing a celebrity's book, not me reviewing a celebrity or artist concert or show. It was just me talking that talk, so to speak, giving my perspective on this topic. And it got more views than my videos normally do, if I'm keeping it 100% real. I don't pay a lot of attention to formulating my YouTube channel to make it like amazing. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I just use YouTube as a vehicle to upload the vlogs that I do to my website. So the numbers on my website reflect very differently than the low numbers on YouTube. I think while I do have some downtime this summer, I'm going to try to give YouTube a little bit more of attention. This way I can kind of broaden my reach with who is able to be a part of the Complex Simplicity experience. So normally no one ever gives my video a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So me getting a thumbs down didn't make me feel bad about life. It actually was like, oh, what I'm saying is catching more attention than usual. It gives me an understanding of the subject matter that may grab people. I don't really do clickbait and all that, but you know, gives me an idea when it comes to analytics and different topics that you all may want to hear my perspective on, whether you agree with me or you don't. For the most part, you know, I was like, oh, okay, you know, this seems to be something that maybe there's a need to hear more of this topic, which I will kind of continue with today's vlog. So you know, I know that I ruffled a couple of feathers, but I'm okay with that because I want to push the envelope. I want to push the boundaries with the conversations that we have as women, as men, about life matters of life that we all go through, the desires that most of us have in our hearts and the things that most of us want, the things most of us struggle with. I'm about talking about those kinds of topics. And for the record, because the person who kind of was sharing their perspective and challenging my perspective to a bit, made a comment. I think she might have understood it that I was the only married friend out of my friends. That is absolutely not the truth, for the record. I do have friends who are married. I choose to specifically discuss my single friends because I'm rooting for them at the end of the day. I would want nothing more than for them to have the desires of their heart when it comes to love, marriage, career, self-love, whatever it is. I want my friends to have the desires of their heart. So that's why I talk about these topics that are geared towards single people, because for some reason it's become a passion of mine, to be honest with you, because like I said, I know amazing single women and men who want to be married and want to do life with someone. And if I, on the outside looking in, who knows the people, my tribe, the people in my world, you know, I'm that friend that'll always be honest and give, you know, I'll be honest with my friends and give my honest perspective, and then I back off. Do a lot of my friends agree with me? No. Do some of my friends agree with my perspective on marriage, dating, and all that? Yes. And that's fine. I'm not trying to make anybody switch over to Chanel's way of thinking. I'm just sharing my perspective. Like I told one of my girlfriends, you know, I love you. I say this out of love. I'm sharing this out of love. You do what you want with the information. You try it your way, I get it. But if you find that nothing has changed in the way that you want it to change, as far as getting into a relationship with a great guy and that leads you to marriage, which is what you want, then if it doesn't work out the way you're doing it, then maybe give another perspective that's sane a try. That's all. I'm not about trying to force people to do something they don't want to do. So I just wanted to clear up that misconception. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I wanted to clear up the misconception that all of my friends are single and I'm the only married friend. That is not the truth. I do have married friends, so you roll with that. You know who you are. Of course, I appreciate the input and the feedback, but you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to make a few things clear. Another thing I want to make clear, because this person also put out there, I think something about, of course, I'm in between jobs right now, and you know, the fact that it took me 7 years to get a ring, and the fact of kind of putting it out there that like my husband, in essence, we'll see how long, the way I understood it, I could be wrong, but we'll see how long he's kind of cool with me being out of work. And, you know, I felt the need because, you know, me roping in my man, I feel the need to address some things. And so, yes, I'm out of work currently right now, interviewing. I know that my job is around the corner. I believe I'm a faith-based woman, but let's not get anything twisted. I thankfully married someone who is about providing for his family, whether I'm working or I'm not working. So we're doing good over here. And just for the record, thanks be to Jesus, your girl still has income, even though she may not be working. And I'm not talking unemployment benefits, no shade, nothing wrong with that, because if I can get that too, I welcome it. But because, as I discussed in the last vlog, when I was talking about independency and what I've learned about myself and my strength when I lived on my own and struggled and did all these things, I'm able to have the keen ability to figure it out. And so thanks be to God, I had a keen ability to figure it out, where your girl still is able to have pretty much a similar measure of income, even though I'm currently not at the job that I was at for 13 years, and I'm working on other streams of income. People, multiple streams of income is where it is at. These days, just relying on your regular 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 10 to 6, 11 to 7, 12 to 8, whatever, is not always going to cut it. And so thankfully, my entrepreneurial mind has been like on, especially this last year. And so we're all right over here. And so I don't want, for anyone, like I said, my intentions weren't for anyone to feel offended or to feel less than. I'm glad that I pushed a button, clearly, or pushed some buttons, because maybe this will help to push all of us, for that matter, to really take a look within. My major point was, if you're finding that it seems like it's very hard to find who you're meant to be with, who God has for you, it's very hard to attract a good, decent, healthy man, then I do think it's okay and necessary to look at yourself from within, because sometimes there are certain blinders we may have with regards to our own lives and the choices we make for ourselves based off of the experiences we might have faced in our childhood or some level of growing up, adulthood, whatever, right? I'm a firm believer that our childhood plays a big part on who we are, right? It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become a certain way depending on how your childhood was, but I do believe the things that we have learned, how we've been shaped and molded from young, a lot of that stuff sticks with us, whether it was great things or whether it was not so great things. We all have great things and not so great things that stick with us. I'm not above it, right? And so, yes, I did have a great childhood, praise be to Jesus, but there's still certain things and issues that I still have to face and deal with on a daily basis. It's life, it's all of us. And so if you're finding that, wow, I'm like really another year, another birthday's here, why is it that I'm not like making any strides in this area? I want to be married. This is for the people who want to be married. If you don't want to be married, that's fine. This person also put out, you know, kind of challenged the fact that I guess maybe they felt that I was giving a tone of like, all women should want this. No, this is for the people who want to be married, right? When I refer to my single girlfriends, I'm referring to the ones who want to be married. Not all of them want to be married, right? But I'm not going to name names and single people out. I just lump everybody in my friends, my girlfriends. It's not your business to know who I'm referring to, and even for my friends who are friends with me and know my other friends, it's nobody's business to know who exactly I'm referring to. And so please don't make assumptions with regards to, you know, like I said, it's seeming as if I'm the only married one out the crew. I'm not. I'm just referring to my single friends the ones who want to be married. And so if you want and desire marriage, I do firmly believe, even through my own experiences, it's definitely important to understand and have self-awareness with your own issues, your own needs, your strengths, your weaknesses, the things I always talk about. Like, this is serious stuff, people, you know, and I'm keeping it real. I will always come from a psychological type of premise with these things, because a lot of times no one wants to focus on mental health and healthy emotions and rational thinking. Nobody wants to focus and talk about these things. You know, everybody just wants to kind of skirt past all of that. No, we have to talk about those kinds of foundations and basics, because these are the things that affect who we attract. These are the things that affect who we're attracted to. If I don't feel good about myself, there's a high chance I'm going to attract the wrong person and attract someone who may not feel that I'm that great either, right? They may have fun with me, they may like me, have certain qualities that they're like, okay, Chanel is cool. But if I'm coming in with the energy that I really don't love me like that, you know what I'm saying? Once again, let's give men credit. They can see through certain things. A lot of guys can see through certain things. They'll see like, wow, shorty got like low self-esteem, you know what I'm saying? And so if I'm still struggling and dealing with those types of things, you absolutely better believe that it's going to affect the choices I make for my life, right? You know, so that's why I like to talk about these things, right? I may end up attracting someone who may share the same sentiment and like, yeah, she's cool, but nah, she ain't wifey material. She's cool, but nah, I'm not trying to take it there with her. They may treat me like crap, like, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's important. And I think I put a thought on my Instagram about this earlier in the week. Or maybe last week, a lot of times I find we as humans in general, men, women, it's easier for us to focus on getting love from everyone else in the world, in the room, than us ourselves. Let's start here. Let's start with loving who we are, understanding, damn, Chanel, you really have those days where you beat up on yourself. Like, why are you so hard on yourself? Why don't you see your beauty from within and without? Why is it that you want to be like everybody else as opposed to embracing who you are? Why is it that you don't like who you are? Like, we gotta start there, y'all. Gotta start there before we can even get to the point of being in a relationship. And maybe what I'm saying is taboo. Maybe what I'm saying is something that most people don't want to hear, don't want to deal with. But this is what the Complex Simplicity experience / brand is about. And so if you rock with it, you rock with me. Welcome, all are welcome. If this is not your cup of tea, love is love, that is fine. You know, so I just wanted to address a few of those things. It's important for me to address a few of those things. I'm not really one to like come on and defend certain things, but when I feel like I'm being misconstrued and misunderstood, oh no, I'm coming on to address that. But anyway, moving along. Like I said, I feel like I got the wheels turning in people's minds. Someone else commented and was just like, you know what? I love the fact that you keep it real. And I'm not about saying what's going to make people always feel good. And I know this is where some of my own friends could be annoyed with me and my family members could be annoyed with me sometimes. But out of love, I'm not going to be that person that's just going to sit here and just be like, yeah, you about to crash and burn. But I'll be like, yeah, girl. Yeah, no, I'm going to be the one that's going to be like, I don't know about you, but I see flames all around. This is what I think we should do. Are you down? If you're with me, let's get the fire extinguisher. Let's escape. Let's do what we need to do to escape this whole crash and burn situation. If you're not with me, love is love. I hope you make it. I'll see you on the other side. Like, you know, so I'm not going to be the person that's just going to put up stuff for laughs and giggles and just address things that's going to make everybody feel warm and fuzzy inside. I'm going to be the brand. I'm going to be the experience that's going to help to challenge us all. And as I always say, I am very much so a part of the conversation. Last thing I'll address is, yes, it took 7 years in me dating my husband before we got married. Why? And this is another important thing that I'm going to get into with today's vlog. Because when I thought that I was ready, I really wasn't. And this is the thing. A lot of times us as women, we love the fantasy of a wedding and the idea of what having a husband and being a wife is about. But I wasn't ready. So God was not going to allow for my husband and I to get married because I wasn't ready and he wasn't ready, you know? And like I said, I will never be the poster child or spokesperson for long relationships before marriage. For whatever reasons, it's just how my love story was written. But I like to use it as an example because I wasn't ready and I thought that I was ready. There were still things within myself as a woman, as a person, that I had to finish working through before I can be a part of any kind of marital partnership. And that's real talk, okay? So if you're finding like, why is it that I'm not meeting this person, or why is it that I've been dating this person forever but we're not really like taking steps towards marriage, 9 out of 10 times it could be that there's still some self-work that both parties have to do, right? Both people in a relationship have to do, you know, and it's important to do that. I'm glad that we didn't just say whatever and just get married. Probably would have been a disaster. The marriage probably wouldn't have lasted. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important to know yourself enough to know, you know what, Chanel, you're not ready. And that happened, I think right around 5-6 years. I was like, who am I fooling? I'm not ready to be nobody's wife right now. There's still certain things within myself as a woman I have to finish developing before that can happen. And then I think by the time it was like year 6 into 7, I was like, damn it, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I knew that I was ready. And my husband apparently was getting ready and working on ring stuff and all of that kind of stuff, you know? So, yes. So I'm not out here when I do my vlogs trying to wave my ring in people's faces or make it seem like I'm married. I'm the only one married out of my friends. That's not the case at all. And if anything, I'm trying to motivate, inspire, encourage, and provoke deep thinking and just things to keep in account that most people may not think about or may not factor in when it comes to relationships and marriage. I'm passionate about this. I don't know, maybe at some point in my life when I'm like between my 50s and 60s, maybe I'll go back to school and become a marital counselor. I don't know, who knows? But for whatever reasons, it is a topic of passion for me, just like friendships is a topic of passion for me, this more so lately. Like I said, because I feel like a lot of times the writing is on the wall and either we don't want to see it or maybe we're just blind to it and we don't see it. So if I can kind of help to put some thought-provoking questions or information out there to help anyone who desires to be married, then I'm all here for it, and that's what I want to do. And so on the topic of marriage, I wanted to discuss, because a lot of times emphasis is put on getting married, the wedding, getting that ring, being engaged and proposed to, right? A lot of conversation I find is not really there all the time about, okay, so the engagement happened. Okay, so you planned your wedding. Okay, so y'all got married. Now what? Right? Because that's really when the work begins. That's really when everything begins, right? The relationship that leads to the engagement, that's the precursor, right? We're getting to know each other, certain foundations we're laying in the relationship of trust, loyalty, commitment, communication. But once you get married, it's real. Shit gets real, y'all. And I never want anyone to walk into anything blindly, right? And so it's like I always say, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, you know. For the most part, I absolutely love being married, you know. I love my husband and doing life with my husband. We make each other stronger. It feels great to know that you have a forever supporter and partner in life. You know, but there are also those times where your wires really do cross, or where you just may not be as connected at times, which is where the love making on a regular basis is uber important to remain connected, right? It's so much deeper than just the sensation. It's really like souls connecting. It's crazy. And so, you know, being able to make big time decisions together, right? Which are conversations that should be had prior to marriage, of course, about having children. Do you want to have children? If so, how many children? How would you want to raise your children? Are you a faith-based person? Is the other person religious or faith-based? Are you Christian? Who is the higher power that you rely on? Do you rely on a higher power? When it comes to money, are you good with money? Are you not good with money? You know, what are our goals? What are some goals that we have individually, and then what are some goals that we have collectively, as it pertains to where we want to live, as it pertains to the kind of jobs we want to work, as it pertains to the finances and what we want to save towards. You know, these are important conversations, of course, to have prior to marriage. But also, these are conversations that need to be continuously had when you are married, right? Sometimes our minds change with certain things, or sometimes we might have, like me, I'm very transparent that my husband is more fiscally responsible when it comes to money than I am, right? I've made leaps and bounds of improvements, but every now and then I may still have that hiccup in the road, right? And so it's being able to deal with that, right? Having the conversation, like, it was unexpected that I lost my job, right? That wasn't something expected. I've been at my job forever. It was like a star performer, you know, loyal for the cause for years. And so thankfully, that was a conversation my husband and I had before we made the big move and got a home. You know, will we be able to afford certain things off of one person's income? You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of important things to discuss and to talk about. When you are at odds with one another, how are you going to communicate through that, right? So it's a lot that has to be considered for those that may be a part of blended families. I'm a part of a blended family. My husband has a 16-year-old son. His son was here with us because he lives in a different state. He was here with us for the past week, had a blast, had a ball. But there are a lot of dynamics that also can come with blended family situations. It's important to talk about these things prior to getting married, you know, with how to handle what your role is. If you're not the biological parent of the child or the teenager, the youth, then you have to discuss what those boundaries are, what the boundaries are with that child or youth's mother, right? That child or youth's father. So, you know, very important things, you know. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people just, they love the idea and the wedding and oh my gosh, but is everybody really ready for what it really calls for and takes to be married? You know, the day-to-day of it all. Are you good with keeping house? Do you and your significant other discuss stuff like that? You know, how do you literally want to live? You know, because I know a lot of men out here that they're not with living in a dirt bomb home. I know a lot of women who are not for living in a dirt bomb home. You know, so it's a lot, you know, understanding men and how they need to be loved, understanding your man and how he needs to be loved, understanding your woman and how she needs to be loved. You know, a lot of times we may have different love languages. You don't always have the same love language as your spouse or your significant other. So how are you, even though what your spouse or significant other may need from you as far as an expression of love, that may not be what your love language is. That still is not going to negate the fact that they may need to be loved in a certain way, whether that's through affection, whether that's through communication, whether that's through just literally always spending a certain amount of time together. Like, everybody has different ways that they show their love, but it can't just be, well, no, because this is how I show my love, so I'm sorry, I can't show you the love the way you need to be shown it. No, you're going to have to figure out a way, even though this is kind of out of my norm, what can I do to make my husband feel appreciated and loved and needed in a sense? You know, so those are things that, you know, have to be communicated as well. I'm trying to think what else. Of course, if there's issues within the family, sometimes with the in-laws, you know, how do we handle this? You know, like, there are a lot of things that just have to be continuously visited and revisited and discussed and dealt with within a marriage. It's a true partnership, y'all. Like, a true team. Like, one can't do one thing without the other not being aware of it as far as major things, you know? And so that's, you know, why I want to start talking even more about, all right, you got the person, you got the man, you got the woman, right? Y'all got engaged, y'all got married, now what? You know, not that I have all the answers, I don't. Praise be to Jesus, I will be married for 4 years in October, right? and been with my husband 7 years prior to that. So 4 years of marriage soon, and that would make a total of like damn near 13 years being together. So I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers and all the information. I'm learning just like everybody else. But as I always say, as I learn, I like to impart the wisdom and the knowledge that I get and the tools to those who want and need it, you know. So it's also to not just focus on the how to get there. From now, even when you're single, start having these like conversations for yourself just to get to know what your perspective is. As I always say, don't wait. Ladies, don't wait until you're in a relationship to start to now want to figure out your perspective on certain things. Have those conversations with yourself now. Write these things down now about what are my thoughts on dating a man that has children. Because let's keep it real. It's a higher percentage rate that you're going to end up with someone who has children more than not, right? Men and women. And so how am I going to deal with this? If this was something that I necessarily didn't really want, I wanted to be able to start a family with my husband or with my wife and not them already had children prior to us coming together, how am I going to deal with this? Because the reality is more people have children than not. And so there's a smaller percentage, not that it can't happen, it's just that the percentage is smaller and lower to meet a man or woman that doesn't already have a child or children. And so start asking yourself how you're going to deal with it. You know, worst case scenario, let's say this is a dramatic situation, you know, for whatever reasons, how am I going to deal with this? You know, start asking yourself now, where would I want to live? Do I eventually want to own a home? Do I want to live in a city? Do I want to am I just more comfortable with renting? You know, career, what kind of career am I really in or going after? What is my career, the type of career that could easily pull me away from my marriage whenever that does happen for me? What are some boundaries and things that I'm gonna have to start being prepared to put in place when I'm at that point of being in a relationship or marriage, to where my career won't be my first love, so to speak, you know, because some people are in situations where they're in relationships or marriages where their spouse is all about their career. Like, it's clear that that comes first, you know. So start asking yourself these questions and getting to know what your thoughts and perspectives and opinions are on this, so that as you meet that person, you know, you're ready, you're prepared. I already thought about these things. This is where I stand with this. Where do you stand with these things? You know, I think the earlier these conversations can be had, I'm not saying during the first date, people, I'm not saying scare them off like that, but just, you know, as you're dating and you're finding that, I feel like there's something here. You know, start having those conversations to see if you're truly compatible as it pertains to doing life together. Not just compatible with personalities, that's important too, don't get me wrong, but the compatibility level and factor goes deeper than that. Once we get past the threshold of you get my personality, I get yours, we vibe, it's good, we're on the same wavelength, we have this connection. Now let's push deeper and get to the point of, are we compatible with the bigger picture of what we want in life, together, collectively, and individually? Are we on the same page? Are we compatible in that way? Thankfully, my husband and I, we dated for so long that we had these conversations. We knew eventually we wanted to buy a home. We knew that, you know, we wanted to have a child, no more than 2. We knew that we wanted a small family, not a whole football or basketball team. We knew this, right? We knew that we wanted to do a lot of traveling. You know, we knew how we wanted to live ultimately. So those are important things to kind of to know. So as we're building, because to me, a part of being in a partnership, a part of being in a marriage, you're building towards common goals together collectively. And so we knew what the bigger picture was. And that helps, you know, even in between the ups and downs and things you're going to naturally go through, it still is important for both parties to know what the bigger picture is, right? Important to know love languages, right? Important to know, okay, this is what I need from him. Okay, this is what he needs from me, you know. And that's one thing that I'm constantly being reminded of. You know, a lot of times men, they want to feel appreciated. They want to feel, they still need affection from us. They you know, something as simple as touch is important for a lot of men. I'm not going to speak for all men, but for a lot of men. And so it's, you know, having that spirit of catering to your man. I'm not talking in the traditional sense of like, you know, how it was back in the day. You know, a lot of times us women are career women, we're busy, we got a lot going on, but we can't forget to cater and make sure that we check in and that we're like, okay, I'm making sure that my man knows I'm right here with him, we're here, you know what I'm saying? And he should be doing that as well, you know? So those things are, it's the simple things, but they're very important. So the earlier you can kind of figure out within yourself, I feel like it's like steps. So once I'm able to get over the hurdle of just understanding me, just knowing me in and out as much as I can. Yes, we're always growing and evolving, or at least as I always say, I believe we should be growing and evolving. You know, so constantly always trying to get a hold and check in and know where you're at with yourself, knowing yourself at this stage of life that you're in. Like I said, any insecurities or different things that we deal with in battle, kind of always checking in with those things and trying to push past and work through. You know, any traumas we might have faced growing up or at different stages of our lives, making sure that we're addressing these things, because these are things that could seep into your relationships and marriages and can, you know, affect how things go, how healthy the relationship is. These are things that can affect if we're making good and healthy choices for our lives or if we're not. So I feel like once we get over the hurdle of kind of having us in check and understanding all of what makes us us, then I think it's important to really start figuring out where you fit in within a partnership, the things that you are bringing to the table that are necessary within a partnership, the things that you feel are the non-negotiables, like I discussed in the last vlog, the must-haves, the things that you need, not just the things you would want to have in a man or woman, but what are the things that you need to have in that better half. And then just what your perspectives are on like life issues, relational issues. You know, what is my stance on this? You know, where am I at with this? Okay, you know, like it's important. Let's not wait until, you know, we're like in that seat. Like, you know how they say, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready, so to speak. Like that, like grinding. I feel like we put this into practice a lot easier when it comes to career. We're grinding, we're working hard, we're making sure that our skills are as sharp as they can be. We're making sure that we're putting in that work, so to speak. This way, when the opportunity presents itself for whatever that big break is that you've been dreaming of and you've always wanted, you're ready because you've been grinding relentlessly. I feel like we're trained to do that with careers, which is great. Why are we not trained to do that with ourselves when it comes to the matters of the heart and relationships and marriage? So why not continue to work hard on yourself, grind, put in the work, do the work. If you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like you battle with certain things, try to figure that out. You know, if you're dealing with certain insecurities or you're always jealous of your friends or I don't know, like woe is me stuff, try to figure that out, right? Work through it. It happens to the best of us. None of us are above it. You work through it. You know, why can't we keep grinding so we stay ready, so that we're in a position to embrace when it's time for us to meet that person? This is what I meant when I said I don't think that it's physics. Meaning, I think a lot of us think that it's like this hard mountain to climb to find who God has for us. I think it's more so not about us literally looking and searching and finding. I think a lot of it is actually the inward stuff, the self stuff, working on us. That I am the only person I can control. I cannot control my husband or anybody else, right? So I continuously have to work on me to make sure that I stay ready, that I'm on top of certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we not work and grind when it comes to ourselves? Why is it that we're willing to do this for everything else? Career does help us, absolutely. It is for ourselves. But when it comes to like love and marriage and relationships, even friendships, why is it that it's like nobody wants to get ready and stay ready? It's like we just want it to come to us. We you know, we look for it, we find it, and it's here. But I think if we focus on ourselves and what we need to work on from within, then you get to a place where you're ready. And a lot of times that place is when you're enjoying your life, you've turned a corner with certain things within yourself, you're loving and appreciating yourself, you're knowing your worth. And that's when God is like, you're ready. Here is who I have for you. And that's what I mean, where it's an easy, it's like this, it just flows. It's not this difficult thing. Like when I met my husband, we were working together. It wasn't this difficult thing. It just was, for whatever reason, at a young age, I was ready in the sense of being able to be in a relationship. I wasn't ready for marriage, but to be in a relationship that was going to gear itself for that at some point, I was ready at that level, right? And so it organically happened with the chemistry, the initial attraction, all of that stuff happened on its own organically. I was living my life. I was enjoying my life. I was enjoying going to concerts, dating different guys. I was enjoying spending time with my family and my friends. I was enjoying, I think I was newly licensed at the time as far as driving. I was enjoying renting cars and driving and going for weekends to stay with this friend and going to this concert because I'm a music lover. Y'all know that. And I was enjoying whatever I could at that stage of my life. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, woe is me, when is it gonna happen? I think when we focus on it too much, it's harder that way. Instead of focusing on when it's gonna happen, which I'm sure is easier said than done, let's just try to focus on ourselves and what we need to do to get ready and stay ready so that when it does happen for us, we're ready, we're there. It's not now where it's like the relationship is gonna take 10 steps forward to take 15 steps back because we still haven't finished getting a hold of certain things. I'm not saying you're going to have it all together. None of us always have it all together, but at least understanding yourself, at least being able to have turned a corner and worked through certain things, whether that's self-confidence, whether that's sometimes feeling jealous and envious of others, whether that's finding your voice, whether that's figuring out your career, whether that's, I don't know, turning a corner if you struggle with weight. Listen, I'm a Black woman who struggles with weight from time to time. I have to work out. Like it has to happen for me to stay on the slimmer side of my thickness, right? And so, going through that journey, I'm glad that that journey started before I was married. I think it started right before we got engaged, and I wish that I would have taken that journey even well before that, you know what I'm saying? So whatever it is within our life that we feel is not balanced or there's no discipline to really just work on you, enjoy your life in the meantime, and before you know it, it'll happen for you. It'll happen. I know it sounds so cliche, but I feel like the recipe is a simple recipe. It just is, are we willing to put that mirror up and do the work? Are we willing to? The work is a continual thing, y'all. I always got to put that mirror up for myself. There are days where I don't want to, if I'm keeping it real, but I have to, right? If I want to be able to continue to foster a healthy marriage, yes, it is part of my responsibility to, okay, Chanel, why we still ain't, I thought we did better in this area. We need to get better, Chanel. Let's get better with your money. Like, we have to it's a continuous thing, right? So just like with career, you never just get comfortable and lay back. Okay, I worked hard and I got to this point. Now let me chill. No, somebody's always trying to get your job. Or if you're an entrepreneur, somebody is always, there's always something that needs to be done to keep the business afloat, to keep the income coming in, right? So we can never get comfortable. We always have to continuously work from within on ourselves, y'all. And this may sound corny and cheesy, or some of y'all may be like, oh, I'm over it. But it's so true. Those are the simple things that can afford us all the opportunities to be able to live healthier and happier lives. But I think I'm gonna stop rambling right now. I hope you enjoy this week. I will definitely be back from my vacation next week, and we'll get back on and tell you all about it, or some of it. I'm going to be going ghost, which I normally do when I do go on vacation. I don't post for the website. I don't post on my social media for the website or even my personal social media. I'm a huge promoter of unplugging. I'm not one of those people where I'm on vacation and you're gonna know every little thing that happened. No, I'll share pictures when I get back. But when I'm on vacation, I wanna be in the moment with my loved ones, in the moment with my husband, you know, enjoying the beautiful island. And so I will be going ghost, but I'll be back in like 7 days, y'all. So continue to rock out with your girl. There's more than enough material for you to catch up on if it's been a while for you. By going to complexsimplicity.com. And until next time.